Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video, we are going to look at 5 WWE superstars that Vince McMahon may never welcome back. WWE is a forgiving company, and over the years, Vince McMahon has been able to brush aside his issues with several superstars in the name of business. Back in 2014, McMahon put aside his issues with the Ultimate Warrior and even added the star to the WWE Hall of Fame ahead of his passing. Recently, it's been rumored that Cody Rhodes could be on his way back to WWE. Despite requesting his release from the company in 2016, the dashing star is one of the leading men behind the rise of AEW. It appears that Vince McMahon is happy to overlook many transgressions and welcome back some of the business's biggest names. But there are still a handful of wrestlers who may never appear on WWE TV again. With that being said, let's look at 5 WWE superstars that Vince McMahon may never welcome back. Number 5. Two-time WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair may never be welcomed back by Vince McMahon. Ric Flair was released from WWE last year after his storyline with daughter Charlotte Flair was canceled. The two-time Hall of Famer has since started his own podcast where he has made it clear that he has been screwed over by WWE several times. Flair has also stated that he will never return to WWE again several times on his podcast, but given his recent outburst, it's likely that the star may not be welcomed back. Flair stated the following on his Woo Nation podcast last year and has also accused WWE of erasing his legacy. And, very openly, I text Vince, no worries. What you're not gonna do, you're not gonna bring me back. Not they want me by any means, but I couldn't ever work for Nick Khan in my entire life. Vince McMahon, I could work for. But Nick Khan, who's the guy that orchestrated taking me off the show, no, never in a million years. Big difference between Tony Khan and Tony Khan respects me. He has, as does Vince. Nick Khan has none. He just knows I won't come back via cage side seats, said Flair. Flair is already in the Hall of Fame and won't be able to wrestle for the company if he was to return. His daughter is in a place where she no longer needs her father there, casting a shadow. So what would Flair offer to WWE if he was open to making a return? It seems likely that the Nature Boy has burned all of his bridges with the WWE chairman this time around and there is nothing that he has to offer. Number 4. Former WWE superstar Neville may never be welcomed back by Vince McMahon. Neville was once seen as a future world champion in WWE, and at one point on Raw there was a belief that the British star was about to win the world title. As a former NXT champion, big things were expected of Neville on the main roster, but the former Cruiserweight champion wasn't pushed into the main event picture. He lost the title to Enzo Amore and refused to return to the company. On October 9th episode of Raw, Neville was scheduled to lose Amore once again, but he walked out of the show and refused to return. After moving back to the UK and refusing to adhere to the rules of his contract, Neville was finally released from WWE almost a year after he walked out. Neville has since become back and has made a name for himself in AEW, so it's highly unlikely that the star will want to return to WWE in the near future. That being said, it's also unlikely that Vince McMahon would welcome Neville back after his breach of contract where he forced the company to grant him his release by refusing to make his return. Number 3. WWE Hall of Famer Sunny may never be welcomed back by Vince McMahon. Sunny is widely considered to have been the first ever WWE diva and has paved the way for so many women who have followed her into the company. That being said, Sunny's issues outside of the ring have made headline news far more times than any of her exploits inside the squared circle. Sunny was added to the WWE Hall of Fame before her personal issues came to light and has since attempted to sell her Hall of Fame ring as a publicity stunt. WWE has welcomed back many former female wrestlers to be part of the women's revolution, but Sunny was never a wrestler. She never held a championship, and a return to the company would cast a dark shadow on WWE. Vince McMahon is willing to do business with anyone and appears to be a forgiving man when he needs to be, but Sunny is one former star who will never step through that curtain again. Number 2. Former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio may never be welcomed back by Vince McMahon. Alberto Del Rio has already had 2 stints in WWE, the first of which ended when he slapped an employee backstage and the second at his request after being suspended in line with WWE's wellness policy. Despite this, the former world champion has made it clear several times that he is open to making a return to WWE, even though it appears that the company are not open to bringing the Mexican star back. Del Rio had a few legal issues with former Divas champion Paige as part of his most recent run with the company, and was recently arrested for sexual assault and kidnapping. Even though the charges were dropped, the internet remembers everything and the WWE universe wouldn't be open to looking the other way. Del Rio was a fantastic character and there's no doubt that he made Vince McMahon a lot of money at one point, but that doesn't mean that the WWE chairman would be open to gambling on a return. Number 1. Former WWE superstar Nails physically assaulted Vince McMahon. WWE fans may not remember Nails, since he made several appearances for the company throughout 1992. It's been 3 decades since the former star was last seen in a WWE ring, and there is a good reason for this. After a short stint with the company where he feuded with Big Boss Man, Bret Hart, and even Ultimate Warrior. Nails was released from WWE after an encounter with Vince McMahon. Bret Hart revealed in his autobiography that there was a financial dispute between the two men that turned physical and led to Nails choking the WWE chairman. Kevin cornered Vince McMahon in his office and screamed at him for 15 minutes about all the lies he'd been told. His yelling got so loud I got goosebumps up my back as I listened from down the hall. Suddenly, there was a loud crash. Nails had knocked Vince over his chair, choking him violently, until Lanza, Slaughter, and a swarm of agents teamed up to pull him off. Nails walked out and immediately called the police and accused Vince of making a sexual advance towards him. The WWE chairman wouldn't be open to welcoming Nails back after the star has since lodged several lawsuits against him as well.